Today I'm going to play with graphite. Water-soluble graphite is one of my favorite art supplies, and I've got my very favorites here for you today. I'm going to show you different ways to make water-soluble graphite work for you. Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Collage-Lab, and I've got some mixed media March minis for you. First off, I've got the Derwent. These are the XL graphite blocks and different colors, and it's all water-soluble graphite, and they come in these big chunky blocks, so those are a lot of fun. Next up, I've got the Art Graph water-soluble graphite, and these are fun because they come in these shapes like tailor's chalk, and so those are by Art Graph. I've got Graphitone pencils by Derwent, and like regular drawing pencils, they come in different hardnesses. So this is an 8B for a very dark wash. And this is a Lyra graphite stick, and it is I believe it's a 2B. My label is wearing off. So this is also water-soluble graphite. Yes, 2B. So I'm just going to show you a few different ways we can use the water-soluble graphite. I'm going to start with the fun color from Derwent, this blue one. So we can make just a really nice mark. We can use the broad part of the block and make a thicker mark. We can use the side of the block and make that kind of mark. But where the magic comes in with these water-soluble items is if we dip it in water and then make our mark. I'm not sure if you can see the difference there from the angle, but it's a little smoother, a little richer. So I'm going to do that again with the side of the block. Definitely smoother and richer there. And then the big, look at that. So that's one way we can approach working with this water-soluble graphite, is dipping it directly into the water. The other ways we can do that, and I'll switch over to the green, is we can make our mark, and then we can come in with a brush and add water to the mark. As much water as you want, so you can get a nice watercolor effect. And another way is to take the actual block, put some water on your brush, and use this like you would use watercolor. So getting the paint right off of the block, so you can get a really nice wash that way as well. One other kind of fun thing we can do with them, I'll go back to the blue. I've just got a plain old kitchen strainer, and so you could use sandpaper or you could use a rasp, but I'm just going to put it through the strainer and get those little particles there. I can smear those and get a really nice little cloudy kind of look. Or I can come in with some water, and I can just do some magical kinds of things with this. So those are the water-soluble graphite blocks from Derwent. Art Graph is very similar. These you can tell are a little more colorful, a little more vibrant, And so again, we can make our marks. The fun thing about this Taylor chalk shape is we've got this, you know, the tiny edge, we've got the wide edge, and we can kind of switch it around as we're creating a line or a mark. So that is dry on dry paper. We can dip this into the water and get a wet mark, really nice and vibrant, and the wider wet mark as well. And again, we can put water down first, and I'll switch to the blue, and that's in the water. Or we can draw on the paper and then come over it with water with our brush. Now, I'm treating these like watercolors right now and getting very wet and messy, right? But once they're dry, they're going to retain their beauty. Now I'm going to use this red like I would use a watercolor. And look at those beautiful colors. I can add more water if I want to create a wash. I can blend the colors to get an orange here. Just a lot of possibilities and just kind of fun. Once these are dry, we will want to set them with a fixative. I like the workable fixative from Krylon, so once these are dry, if I wanted to use them, I would go ahead and use that workable fixative. Let me flip this over and get another page of my sketchbook and show you the plain colors, the blacks that we so often associate with graphite. So this is a Lyra stick, and we can just make, you know, nice marks with that. The more pressure we put, the darker the marks. And then if we dip it in water, we can get nice marks. And then in water with pressure, and look how dark those marks get. So that's Lyra. This is a 2B, and then this is the Derwent graphite tone. This is an 8B, and so dipped in water, you get these marks. This is with pressure, dipped in water. I'll dry off my tip here and do some dry marks for you as well, depending on the pressure. So this makes a wonderful mark, you know, shadowing and things like that by just wetting the tip, or you can go in, you know, with the dry graphite, maybe doing some shading or shadows, and if that isn't enough, then you can come in with some clean water. I've got some red in there, but you can create this wash that's really nice for shading. So what I'm going to do today for my little mixed media March mini, say that 3 times fast, I'm not going to use any of these samples here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a collage, and then I'm going to add mark making with the different kinds of water-soluble graphite. For my mini collage, I'm going to create a background out of these book pages, and I just want to give you a little mini lesson if you've never heard this or forgotten about tearing, we can get, I'm going to show you this on a magazine page, when you tear and pull towards you, the white edge of the magazine page is going to be on the opposite side. When I tear away from myself, the white edge goes on this edge. Now, it's not as obvious with a book page when I tear towards myself here. But this is what would be a white edge on a magazine. So it's a rawer edge. And so I want to be aware of that. That's going to help enhance some of this graphite as I put it down. So I'm just going to tear some strips here. I've got an idea for this mini collage. And I'm just going to tear these all towards myself so that the top edge is that raw torn paper edge. It'll all make sense in a minute. So I'm just going to tear another one here. All right, that should be enough. And then I'm just going to glue these down kind of randomly and overlapping, but with my torn raw edge towards the top. One more. I'm going to use a ruler on this tear because I want a straight bottom edge. Okay. This is my background, and you can see the torn edges a little bit. We're going to enhance those with the graphite. I'm also going to tear some smaller pieces, little strips. Probably just 3 of those. I'll put those down. to create this background, which is going to be the home to a little fish that I cut out of this tropical fish book. He's going to live here, but I want to put the graphite down first, add some color to the background in a couple different ways. So first of all, I'm going to go with this blue art graph, and I'm going to do a bit of a wash. You can see how the blue is picking up the edges of the torn paper there. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, I like how that's going. And show you. See how it's soaking into those raw edges of the paper. All right, I'm going to go in with this green, and I'm going to dip it in water and use the edge of the graphite and kind of draw some algae on these vertical strips, something like that. And I've got this kind of a sienna color, and I'm going to go in with that dry at the bottom of the sea or the fish tank or whatever. And I can smear that a little bit. There's a little bit of moisture from the other. So something like that. And then my fish. And glue down my fish. Right about there. And then one more thing, I'm going to come in with the graphitone pencil, and I'm going to give him a little shadowing. So I'm dipping it in water, and I'm going to add a little shadow on the bottom side of the fish, just to make him stand out a little bit. And I think I will go over that with a damp brush. So I'll take a look at that when it dries and see if it needs anything else. But I think that is a pretty good use of our water-soluble graphite. When it dries, I will also spray it with Krylon workable fixative so that the graphite doesn't continue to smear.